What is up, YouTube? What is up, college football fans? So the news just broke a few minutes ago. Here we are Sunday, the day after the loss to Northwestern. 3 losses in a row. Two bad losses in a row against UCLA and Northwestern. Of course, they lost to Oregon in double overtime as well. But 3 losses in a row for Penn State, and James Franklin has been officially fired. I was streaming last night during the primetime games, and somebody was like, "Pete, do you think that James Franklin will survive this?" And I said, "No, I don't think he will. I think it's just a matter of, maybe at the end of the season or whatever." I obviously did not predict that they would fire him now, but I don't blame them for firing him now. In my opinion, and there's a lot of different opinions on when is a good time to fire coaches. In my opinion, if you know you're moving on from a coach, there's no reason to wait. Now, I know the buyout situations are different with every team, and if you wait till the end of the year, you might save a few $1 million on a buyout. And James Franklin had a huge buyout. James Franklin had like a $50 million buyout. That brings me to another point. These huge we thought with the rev share and all that's going on in college football right now, we've seen a lot of coaches in the past decade get fired and get these ginormous payouts. And there was some thought that because of the new the model financially in college football, that might change, right? I don't think that's the point. I don't think that's the case. I mean, obviously, it's not the case for Penn State. And there's a lot of people out there that think that these giant contracts with the guaranteed money and these huge buyouts is going to come to an end. I don't think it is. I've been saying this this has been a debate with me and other of my college football colleague fans on YouTube for a while, is the dynamic of the payout and the contract. And are we going to continue to see these inflated contracts? And my position has always been, and I still stick to this, is that you never see these things go downward, right? It's almost like the value of the dollar. The value of the dollar is never going to be what it was in 1970. The value of these contracts for coaches in college football, and for the players and coaches in professional sports, and now we see even players in college, like, it never goes down. It always goes up. So no, I don't think we're going to stop seeing these teams go out on a limb and give these coaches who are, I want to say, unproven. I mean, James Franklin got the job at Penn State for a reason. It wasn't like he was a nobody. He took a terrible Vanderbilt bottom-dwelling team to a respectable team. That's why he got the job at Penn State. So I'm not saying that. But we're not going to see these things go downwards. As much as people think that, it's just not happening. You're going to continue from now till eternity, until we're all dead in the ground, to see teams reach out on a limb for a coach that they think is going to lead them to the promised land, or elevate their program, or whatever, or make them a bunch of money in Deion's case. And they're going to reach out there and they're going to get them. And they're going to and the only way to get them is to offer them these insane contracts, and to offer them an insane buyout if they get fired. So, but I think, and I want to be the first to say this, on YouTube or anywhere else, I think the next head coach at Penn State, the best option, again, this is just a guess. Obviously, I don't have any idea who Penn State's hiring or who they're even targeting. But you've got to believe, if you've been paying attention to college football, that Curt Cignetti is at the top of that list. Now, Cignetti's old. He's in his late 60s. He's no spring chicken. And I even had somebody just a minute ago, when I commented on Twitter about, I think Cignetti will be the next head coach at Penn State, say, well, why would Cignetti leave Indiana to go Penn State for what he's built? This is why. Do you think Signetti is going to turn down a massive contract with a massive payout and a massive guaranteed contract at a big school like Penn State? I mean, we all like to make fun of Penn State with the pedo this and the pedo that and the Jerry Sandusky, and they haven't won anything in forever. But the fact of the matter is, Penn State is still one of the biggest brands in football, and they are in an air rare, a very select group of schools that can go out there and pretty much handpick their head coach. So Indiana, it's a great story. They're a great team. They might make it to the playoffs. Who knows what they'll do? I think Penn State. I mean, I think Indiana this year is amazing. I'm not shitting on Indiana. I'm really not. But the Indiana job is not Penn State's job. I mean, let's not pretend like it is, right? So I'm projecting that one of the first calls that Penn State will make is to Signetti. That's my prediction on this. We'll see if I'm right, and maybe he will turn it down. Maybe he's old enough he doesn't want to go start over somewhere else, and he just wants to ride the pine and have success at Indiana with what he's doing there. I don't know, but I do. Well, here's what I do know. I do know that it's hard to turn down that kind of money, and Indiana's not going to pay him what Penn State would if they want him. But aside from Signetti, who do you guys think would be like the top 2 or 3 coaches that a place like Penn State would go after? I want to know that in the comment section. So let me know in the comment section. Thank you.